Hello, everyone. Welcome to Module 6, and we are almost done with the course. Hallelujah. Um, Reminder, as we're getting into the group work and after, getting your conversation started with your group over this past weekend, please be patient and respectful with your group members. And if there's any issues, let me know about it sooner than later. So looking at Module 6, we have a similar schedule of events as we did last week. The overview video here, which will be this. And then you have review part 1, which is chapter 9, welfare and social security. And you have a couple videos there. Review part 2, education policy, and you have a couple videos there, including my lecture. And you have discussion 6, excuse me, which is watch PBS Frontline separate and unequal. And that's actually just a link, it's not embedded. And then answer the question. And please, there's some of you who don't always respond to another student. Do so to make sure you're getting the maximum points for these assignments. And you have to first respond by Thursday, not Saturday. Then it comes up late. You respond to a fellow student by Saturday. Make sure to read the instructions clearly in the syllabus and in Canvas. Then you have your group project 2, your policy alternatives worksheet, which I'll be discussing with you shortly. And this is going to take, like all of these worksheets, a little bit from the first worksheet into the second, and then you're building upon that. Now we're looking at different policy alternatives, like how people deal with the problem, solutions to the problem. And then next week we'll have the final sheet, which will take elements of both and put it into that final worksheet, but then you'll have to look at some ways to measure the problem. So again, and I'm going to keep saying this, make sure you're choosing a problem that is specific, because you need a policy that is specific to a problem and that can be measurable. So nothing too vague or nebulous. So you have reading quiz like you always do on chapters 9 and 10. And if we go through here, we see part 1, welfare, social security, you have a video, lots of graphs and such. And don't forget this video here. It's a link. For some reason, it doesn't work as it to be embedded. I don't know why. And then you have education policy, and there's my lecture there. It's one of my research interests. And you will see also here, this is a CNBC, Why College is So Expensive in America. Here you have the Frontline, separate and unequal. This is a great piece from maybe 10 years ago. Maybe a little newer than that. Make sure to read it. And you watch it, it's you have to click. It doesn't embed for some reason. And respond to someone else. Respond by Thursday, 11:59, and make sure to respond to a fellow student for Saturday at 11:59. So, policy alternatives worksheet. So this is a little bit different from the last worksheet in that each member of the group, so if there's 2 members, there's two different items. There's 3, if there's 4, there's 4. Each are going to, let me just open this for the example. Bear with me here. So again, the example is chronic homelessness in Imperial County, California. Each member is going to find an article on a policy alternative. And again, that's the lingo the text uses. Policy alternative is a policy solution. So this is something that's being done somewhere. And a policy alternative can be 1 or 2 or 3 or 8 components. But for example, policy alternative 1, there's a better way program. We all watched the video about Albuquerque. So, just give me a real quick breakdown and make sure you go through each component and list what instrument of public policy it is. So in the case of There's a Better Way program, we have the day worker program with VAN. That's a market mechanism. It's subsidies and government management. The second service, and the services are outputs, not outcomes. Outcomes are related to goals. The second is intake and referral program for healthcare and housing services. So here you have information, education, and research. You have government management and public-private partnership. Why? Because some of the intake and referral and healthcare and housing services are done with nonprofit entities, not with the city. So they're working. And even if it's a public-private partnership, for the intents and purposes of this course, we just say public-private partnership. 3, the job skills training program, information, education, and research, public-private partnership. If you don't have the components listed with your example, and again, choose an example that you're going to find, it could be a video, it could be an article, whatever, that has some sort of solution in it. Don't just choose something that's just talking about the problem, but there's no solutions. Job skills training program, information, education, research, public-private partnership. I said short-term and long-term housing program, that's information, education, and research, public-private partnership. And then put the source. This is just so I can check it quickly and know that, refer to it. So then you have another one here. There's ending chronic homelessness, and this is an article. And here there's the Third Door Coalition in King County, Washington. So even though we're talking about Imperial County, your solutions can be from anywhere. I mean, it can be from Texas or planet Mars. I don't care, as long as it's something that you can take and apply it to where you're focusing your group project. So then after you do that, all of the group is going to come up with something. Each one review each other's article or video or what have you. They're each policy alternative. You're going to suggest a policy alternative. So what's your solution? Now, in this case, I made up Chronic Homeless Outreach Project, CHOP, which is similar to policy alternative 1. There's a Better Way. You could say it's similar to 2 and 3, using elements of both, however you want to explain it. And then listing the policy components. Again, this looks a lot like There's a Better Way, and that's fine. And then you answer all of these questions. And make sure to have the proper instruments of public policy. If you don't know or are confused, send me an email, ask me a question. Now, you will also have to deal with equity challenges, political feasibility, social acceptability, all of these things. Just go back, review what they are, and then just give me a brief paragraph on how it would be dealt with. And in some cases, it might be very difficult to deal with. I want you to address it. For adequate transparency, this is a good example. Again, refer to the examples. The budget for the program will be accessible to the public on the county website every year, as well as an annual audit. This will include the amount and frequency for all payments to third-party entities, blah, blah, blah. So just a quick explanation. Again, I have the instruments listed for you. Taxing and spending, everyone likes to use it incorrectly. For this course, when we say taxing and spending, unless you're creating a tax that is specific and exclusive to providing the policy alternative, for this policy, don't put taxing and spending. And that could be a tax. It could actually also be funding through some sort of bond issue, whatever you have it. You're creating a revenue source specific to the program. If not, don't put it. It's not just vague, like any taxing and spending, use, we're going to use it. Well, of course, then every policy would have taxing and spending as one of the instruments. So in this case, you want to tease it out only in the case where you're creating something specific. For example, Social Security and Medicare use FICA taxes. That's something set up specifically for them. When you get back your problem alternative worksheet that you finished last week, check for my comments. There may not be a lot of comments, but just check and review and try to make those changes when you start to bring your issues here. So for example, if I said that your societal issue is too vague, and I suggest something that's a little more specific, make sure you're making the change here. And that goes for this one, you know, and to the next one. Okay, so you have a rubric here. Then you have your reading quiz. So if you have questions, concerns, email me. Don't feel bad about that. I try to get back to everyone within a day or so. I want to make sure that you put together something that makes sense. And if you're confused, let me know. So I will see you next week, and good luck on your worksheets and quizzes and other coursework.